And here we go, Chuggalos. It's SFIL here. On day 5, flying solo today. John is off with doing the regular standard Brew Crew podcast format with Matt, and I think they're going to do their review of this day 5 of the Advent calendar. So left me flying alone solo today. So here we are. Well, not exactly solo. As you see, I've got my old pals, Mr. Jingle Bear, old pal, and of course my trusted confidant and good friend, Father Christmas, with me today. And we're all going to be trying today's day 5 Advent calendar offering, which is, hey, careful man, there's a beverage down here. That's right, that's the name of the beer. Careful man, hey, careful man, there's a beverage here. Alrighty then. This is going to be an interesting day because it's going to probably twist your noodle, and it may give you guys a lot to think about. It's going to knock you off your socks, I think, a little bit, and what I'm going to have to say about this. This is a Pipeworks beer, Pipeworks Brewing Company, which is a great brewing company. They make a lot of great fine beers. This happens to be, hey, careful man, there's a beverage here. Happens to be what they're calling an Imperial White Milk Stout with lactose, vanilla, coffee, and cacao nibs. Okay, so we're going to pop this open right now and we're going to get into it. We're going to talk a little bit more about it, but first, let's get to the good stuff, shall we? 3, 2, 1. All right, now, this will be the first thing that blows your mind. I want to dispel some misconceptions about what a white stout is. Now, this one happens to call itself a white milk stout, and there's a reason for that, and I'll get to that in a minute also. But right now, I want to talk about what a white stout is and why they call it a white stout. Is it white? No, it's not white. Is it a stout? Here's the first noodle twister, Chuggalos. It's not a stout either. It's neither a white ale and it's not a stout. That's right. This is what this is actually a beautiful golden amber ale. It is an ale. It's a beautiful golden amber ale, and it's made to taste like a stout with some of the adjuncts that the brewers put in there, but not look like a stout. So it's all they shoot for, typically anyway. With a white stout, brewers try to shoot for the taste and flavor profile of a stout without the color. So as you can see, look at that. Beautiful, deep golden ale. It's a gorgeous colored beer, a white stout is. But it's really not a stout. It's really an ale. That's what it is. It's a golden amber colored ale, which is beautiful tasting, but it's not like any beer that you've ever tasted before. It's made in a very completely different style than any other beer. And as a result of that, around the world, people fall into 2 distinctly different classes, of course. There's people that are fascinated by white stouts, and they love them. They're fascinated by them, and they like trying all the different combinations of white ales, white stouts. And there are those that cringe at the very thought of a white stout. How dare you call yourself a stout? What's the white deal all about? Etc., right? So here we go. I happen to love white stouts because I love ales. I like darker, more fuller-bodied ales. That's what is intended here. The brewers, simply put, they brew an ale in a style that is meant to add adjuncts to it to make it taste like a stout. How do they do that, Scott? Sorry, Phil. I think I used my real name. Oh no. In order to get that flavor profile, they typically add coffee or coffee beans, or maybe both, vanilla beans, and also cacao nibs. Right? Cacao now is just a plant that's an evergreen plant that cocoa, chocolate, etc. is made from. So you get those chocolate, notes and flavors, and you get the coffee notes and flavors and the vanilla notes and flavors without any of the color. That's the whole idea. So who decided to call it a stout? Not sure, but it's really not a stout. So there you go. There. Here you go. And bottom line is it's going to be very different tasting in that the brewers decide what to put in it to make it. And the brewers love white stouts because it's a kind of a free-form base for an experimentation. They can take a deep golden colored ale like this, and you can make this whatever you want to make it. You can make it an Oktoberfest. You can make it, you can make it just about anything. You can add fruit to it and make some interesting ales like that. You can do almost anything with this kind of an ale, so it's beautiful. Now, typically, a white stout like this will have chocolate flavors in it, caramel flavors from the caramel malt that it makes it the golden amber color that it is, and also some vanilla flavors as well to it, and obviously coffee flavors as well. That's typically what brewers go for when they're making a white stout. But of course, as I said, it can be made to go in just about any direction. So there you have it. There's everything you wanted to know about white stouts and probably more. And sorry for anybody where I popped your bubble. You probably thought this was supposed to be, a dark-colored, stout-looking beer. It's not, because it ain't a stout. I think I've said that 3 times now. Okay, I'll stop with that now. This particular one has, oh yes, here we go. Very important thing to know about a white milk stout. Okay, so why do they throw milk in there? SFIL, is that just to confuse things even more? Because it's obviously not white, and there's obviously not milk in there. What's going on there? Well, a milk stout is a more traditional stout, actually. It's a real stout made with, chocolate and roasted malts to give it that dark, rich flavor, that kind of burnt, roasted flavor that you get, real strong flavors in a stout like that. It's a traditional stout, but brewers in a milk stout add lactose, which is milk sugar. And lactose, the thing about lactose is beer yeast can't ferment it, can't convert those sugars into alcohol. So those are called unfermentable sugars, and when you have unfermentable sugars, especially when you add those in on top of the sugars that are already being provided by the malt, those sugars will remain sugars. They won't ferment out, so it's going to be very sweet. So that's what you're going to notice about this particular beer. Before I even taste it, I know it's a white stout, so it ain't really a stout. It's going to be a caramel color, deep amber. You're going to have that classic taste. They're going to inject coffee, vanilla, and chocolate into it, which they said on the can they were going to. And because it's called a milk stout, they also add, yes, lactose to it. It's going to be sweet. It's going to be pretty sweet. So now we kind of know generally what we're in for. Now let's go for the taste. Yeah. This particular beer, it's 10.5%. So high octane, man. Be careful. There's a beverage here. I think I got that backwards. Careful, man. And here we go. Don't mind me. I can't have. I don't have the luxury of having John here to talk while I'm tasting, and vice versa. So what we're going to do is we're going to let Jingle Bear and we're going to let Father Christmas, in all of his wisdom, we're going to let them talk while SFIL gets a little flavor for the beer, so I can talk a little bit more about that. Here we go. Okay, take it away, guys. It's interesting how they do that. Okay. So some key things jump out at me when I'm first tasting this. The very first thing that hits your palate on the very first taste is, of course, the coffee flavor. Can't escape that. Coffee's a pretty strong flavor, and it comes out in spades here. There's a lot of coffee in there. They do that to compensate. They're trying to make it taste like a stout, obviously. They got to compensate for not having any roasted barley, or roasted malt in there, or chocolate malt in there. So, ergo the coffee. I get that. It's pretty heavy on the coffee, though. I like it. I like a coffee stout. I do. I love that a lot. I love that flavor profile in there. But it's a little more coffee and a little less of the other things. So as I continue down in the taste profile of what I'm tasting in this, the second flavor that hits me is sweetness. A lot of sweetness right up front in the front of your tip of your tongue and all the way through your mouth, across your tongue as you're swallowing it. So it's very sweet. And I'm tasting, after that, probably third or tertiary flavor I'm tasting is chocolate. So the chocolate's more subtle, sits back a little bit. That's the cacao nibs that you're tasting in that. And finally, there's hints of vanilla throughout there. So I'm tasting all those flavors, got those, but they're not necessarily balanced in the same way. And that's okay. That's maybe what the brewer was shooting for on this. So I get that. That's what we're tasting in this. It's a lovely libation. It's very good. I'd say, I generally love white stouts. I like this one too very much. It's very good, very high quality. You can taste the sort of the quality in the mix and how the brewer tried to, blend those flavors together in a way that to hit the target that he was shooting for, let's say. So that's all good. I would say here for me, it's a little bit sweet for my liking. I think it would be just fine without the extra lactose. I think it would be plenty sweet. It wouldn't be dry. I think it'd be plenty sweet without the lactose, or maybe with less lactose if they wanted to really milk it up and make it a milk stout. It's really not a milk stout either, because it's neither a stout nor is it a milk stout. But they put lactose in there, so that's why they call it a white milk stout. So I think it's a little on the sweet side, and I think the coffee is a little, just a smidge too high of content as far as proportions go and balance goes. There's a little bit much coffee for me. Other than that, it's pretty good. Because of the sweetness and the sugar that's in there, it's not going to be one that you're going to be able to drink quickly, and it's not going to be one that you're going to be able to drink a lot of. Like, you're not going to have, 2 or 3 or 4 of these, right? There's just too much sweetness there, for me, anyway, for my liking. So I like the beer. It's solid. I would definitely drink it again. So that puts it in the above 3.0 category for me. It's not a home run. I think it's just a really solid, well above average kind of a beer. I don't think it kind of rates. I've been ranking the first 4 days were extremely high. We had some really solid beers in there. I'm going to probably not put it quite that high, but I'm going to put it above a 3. So I'm going to give this beer the, hey man, careful man, there's a beverage down here. I'm getting this wrong every time. I'm going to give this beer from Pipeworks a 3.5 from SFIL. That's my number, and I'm sticking to it. What do you think, Jingle Bear? Jingle Bear agrees. He wants more. He thinks I'm hogging it. Nice, huh? Yeah, I know. You want to just take it back to the cave so you can hibernate on it. What are you going to do? He's a bear. And Father Christmas, your opinion? Oh, sage wisdom of the ages. Stay clear of white ales and polar bears. That's what he's saying to me. I don't know what that means. But anyway, so that's it from SFIL on day 5. We've got a very interesting white milk stout. I give it a 3.5. Very, very good. Worth trying, worth drinking again. Just can't drink a lot of them. And, probably a great example of the style that we're talking about. It's a unique style to all the other beers we've had so far in this Advent calendar. Yet it's probably not one that I'd rush right out and say, gosh, that's my favorite beer. That's my favorite beer of the Advent calendar. So there you have it. Sort of an above average B plus maybe. Kind of in that range. That's it from SFIL. Happy day 5, Chuggalos. It's great to be hanging with you again this Advent calendar season. We will see you tomorrow. Going to be rejoining JT over at the Casa bar over there, and we'll see you tomorrow for the surprise that we've got for you tomorrow. It's going to be a good one. So stay tuned, join us, and can't wait to see you all. We're on day 5. Day 17 is coming up. Don't forget, day 17, we're meeting. So we got 12 days. We got less than 2 weeks, and we're going to be together, hanging out. And there's a very, very special offering and gift planned for us all on day 17. So we'll see you then. Until then, have a good night. Bye-bye. And by bonds, it's good for America. SFIL out.